Hi guys, Nikki here, the trainer from Kenilwood. They are wanting us to limit our one-on-one time during our lessons. So I am going to just do this short little video, probably maybe about 10 minutes, and just discuss the lecture portion of our lesson. So you guys can watch this before our lesson tomorrow night. And then when our lesson comes, I can just get BG out and we can just start working her. So I'm going to send home a packet with you guys. This packet, it's going to go over some basics on dog communication and how we can also be pack leaders. So the first thing I want to cover are the 3 pillars of dog training: timing, motivation, and consistency. Now, we have about 1.3 seconds to influence whether that's reward or correct our dog's behaviors. So when it comes to timing, it has to be in the moment. So very fast window, 1.3 seconds. Some examples of good and bad timing: people will say, you know, Nikki, I take my puppy out to go potty and they do their business, and then I bring them inside the house and I have them sit by the treat jar and then I give them a treat. So I'm rewarding them for potting outside, and I'll say, no, you're rewarding them for sitting by the treat jar. So if we want to reward them for going to the bathroom outside, we need to take a treat outside with us. Same thing goes if we walk into a room and we find an accident or a chewed up shoe and we did not catch our puppy in the act. It's too late to correct. So at this point, to have good timing, especially with a young puppy, we really have to supervise them, and also use confinement, you know, for times, whether that be a little like pen or a crate, or blocking them off in a certain area, just so they are not being allowed to have so much free time, especially when they're young, because then they typically make bad choices, and that's why she's here, so she can learn good choices. So timing is everything. Our second element is motivation. There are 2 types of motivation: positive and negative. Our positive motivation is going to tell her what to do. So whenever she does a desired behavior, something we like, we're going to mark that desired behavior with the word good, and we're going to follow it up with a treat. And so the sound and then the action: good followed by treat. That's for desired behaviors. For negative behaviors, which is going to tell her, we're going to use a negative marker of the word no for any and all undesired behaviors. A lot of people, for negative markers, tend to use a ton of different words. No, stop that, off, no biting, don't jump, get down. And it's very confusing for a puppy. We need to make our communication more black and white. So especially for families, if we can just use the word no, whether it's jumping, you know, we catch her in the act of having an accident, she's chewing, whatever the negative behavior is, we use the word no, and we're going to follow it up with the action, which is going to be a quick pop on the leash, which I will show you physically how to do that during our lesson tomorrow night. Consistency is our last element. We know what that word means. We're going to try to do the same thing every day, all the time. Number 1 place where we as humans fail. But something that I highly recommend to all of my puppy parents is that while we are in this beginning initial phase, until we have our puppies where we want them, I highly recommend that anytime she is out and supervised with you, you have a leash and collar on her. So just letting her drag a small, skinny, little lightweight leash, can be anywhere from 4 feet to 6 feet. This way, if she does something that we don't like, we can grab the leash, tell her no, and we're going to give her a little quick pop on the leash. It allows us to be super consistent with our puppies. Rather than reverting back to old behaviors of, if she does something we don't like, maybe we pick her up, or if she jumps, we push her off of us. And anytime when our puppies are doing a negative behavior and we touch them, even if it's to push them off, we are engaging with them. So then they think that, oh, this is how I should approach humans, by jumping up, because the hands come on me. So the leash is going to allow us to not put hands on our puppies, to wait until they're in a calm state of mind, and then we can pet and reward and use touch. But to take the touch off whenever we're correcting. Using the leash allow it to be your best friend for a while. It's not a forever tool, but for a little while until we have her where you guys want her. So those are the 3 pillars of dog training. That's our first sheet of our packet. The second page is going to be leadership rules for pet parents. Now this is going to give you a lot of suggestions on ways that you can promote leadership to your puppy in the home environment. A few things: no free feeding. So we suggest having scheduled meal times with her, which she's been a good little eater here, so I would assume she probably is at home too. But having those scheduled feedings, it's a way to promote leadership. B, it's also a way with puppies who are going through potty training. We know what's going in, so then we know when we need to take them out. So structured feedings. Couple other things: pack leaders control. We initiate any and all interactions. So once again, kind of going back to the jumping thing, we don't want to allow pushy behaviors such as jumping or nipping. We want to correct those with the word no, followed by a pop on the leash. So every time our puppy comes up to us, we don't need to reach down and pet. Especially if they're jumping or if they're nipping or if they're pawing at us. All of those things, they're not aggressive behaviors, but they're very pushy behaviors. And if puppies are allowed to do those things, or if they get rewarded for doing those things, they stick with those behaviors, are ingrained into their brain, and they continue to do them even up into adulthood. So really, we don't want to allow any of those pushy type behaviors. And also thinking about if we don't want our puppy to do a certain behavior with people that come to our house, or with grandma or grandpa or children or the neighbors, they can't do that behavior with us. So I've often had people say, well, we don't care if our puppy jumps on us, but we don't want him jumping on anybody else. Well, that's painting a very gray picture, which is the human brain. The dog brain is black and white. Either behaviors are okay or they're not okay. We can't be allowed on this couch, but not this couch. So keeping in mind the black and white scenario, that's how their brain works. Something else we're going to be going over, pack leaders go through doorways first. We don't want to just open up a door and her rush through it, which I will be showing you guys how to do. We also want to avoid any big emotional displays of whenever we leave or whenever we come home. Once again, if we walk in the door and we're like, hey, how are you? And we get our puppies all excited, they jump, maybe they tinkle on the floor, maybe they nip at our fingers. And then if we engage with them, we're just encouraging that behavior. So really want to remove those big emotional displays of affection when arrivals and departures, when our puppies are not making good choices. Few other things. So you'll notice tomorrow night whenever we're in our lesson, I'm not going to use my voice to correct her. So I'm not going to raise my voice. I'm not going to use body language to intimidate her. My voice is going to stay just neutral, just how it is now. Sometimes when I praise dogs, my voice goes a little bit higher, which is fine. But we don't want to raise our voice, especially when we are correcting our dogs. We want to kind of have that mindset of, you did a negative behavior. More so, I don't care that you did the behavior, but there's going to be a consequence for it. So the voice stays the same, and we followed up with a correction. Few other things on here, it is our job, I don't know if she's around a lot of children, but it's really our job as the leaders to make sure that, our children or any children that are around her are being fair to the dog. And then in turn, that the dog is being fair to the children. So no grabbing tails, poking puppies in the eye, grabbing fur. Sometimes young children tend to get a little rough with puppies. And so we really want to make sure that we are on top of those interactions, especially as she's a young puppy. Couple other things: limiting freedom in the house. I kind of touched base with that. Not allowing our puppies to have all of this space to where maybe they can, oh, I'm going to go in this bedroom and have an accent. I'm going to go over here and play with my toys. I'm going to go over there and chew on this. Really thinking of your puppy as a toddler at this point, that we really have to use supervision and confinement when they're at this age, not just for potty training, but also for their safety. We really almost need to like micromanage them. We need to give them that structure, give them that routine. So that's pretty much that second page. I've kind of skipped around on it, but like I said, I will I'm going to send this packet home, and feel free to bring your questions to the lesson. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. Some things that we can discuss tomorrow evening. We can go over, I want to see how she's doing with her potty training at home. We're going to work on leash walking. We're going to work on a climb command, which is going to be to get on an elevated pet bed and stay there until she's released. We're going to touch base on the sit command, and we're also going to focus on the interactive behaviors. So the pushy behaviors, the jumping, the nipping, all of that stuff. So just wanted to go over that with you guys. Like I said, bring your questions to tomorrow night's lesson, and I will see you then. We've got a lot to show you. Thanks, guys.